Hey guys, welcome to the very first episode of the Voice It podcast, brought to you by Youth Be Involved. My name is Aliyah, and here with me is my co-host.
Pedro.
We bring to you political news in the simplest way possible, so you don't have to spend your time going through boring news. We do all that for you. So Pedro.
So I'm guessing most people will be thinking, why are we even doing this? Like, why would we take time out of our weekend to come and discuss, of all things, politics when there's gossip? Well, it's simple. Nigeria's population is like maybe 60-70% young people. So we make up the bulk of Nigeria. We are the future and we are even the now. So it's time for us to, as our name says, be involved. And yes, we will bring it down because a lot of times we feel like politics is far from us. But really, if you think about it, it's closer than you think. So Aliyah, after now, where are you going to?
I'm going nowhere. I'm going to sleep.
Me, I have Owambe plans. So I'm going to go.
I need to tag along. I really need to start going out more.
Next week, I'll take you out next week. Yeah.
I'll hold you to that. All right. So the first step to being involved is to like,
Yes. Share,
comment,
subscribe,
and turn on your post notifications
Shall
so
be
you
involved.
get. In fact, comment. Let's hear your thoughts on everything we're talking about. So now to today's agenda: state of emergency in Rivers State. Pedro, what do you think about that?
I was joking with someone earlier that now Nigeria has 37 states, so it's the 36 states that we know, and then the 37th is state of emergency. But you have to give it to the people of Rivers, because on a normal day, I grew up in Port Harcourt, so I think I know them to an extent. And on a normal day, you see that the people of Rivers are very outgoing, boisterous, loud, sometimes a bit aggressive. But this one time that we thought that they would be that, instead of emergency, they calmly took it in good faith. But I think for us to best understand the state of emergency, exactly. So we need to go to the genesis of the state of emergency. And Aliyah, I think you're the queen of facts.
All right, so let's start. Let's unpack everything that brought about the state of emergency. So a little bird said the tensions between the governor and and Nyesom Wike is mostly the reason for the state of emergency. But legally, the reason why that happened is because of the vandalization. We're going to chalk it up to the vandalization of the pipelines, and which is very crucial to Nigeria's economy because the economy can't function without crude oil. A major source of imports, major source of foreign exchange. So that there is that. But we know, or let's just say the people know, that tensions between the governor and Nyesom Wike is one of the reasons why the state of emergency was called. And the president referred to Section 305 of the Constitution.
And that's section 305. So when I look at the state of emergency, I look at it from two angles. One, the legality of it, and two, the justifications for the legality of it. So section 305 has like provisions for when a state of emergency can be called. So there's like when if the nation is at war, if there's some form of crisis, like about five different instances. But now here's the thing. Nobody can determine what level of tension is tension for a state of emergency to be called. So it seems more like it's left to the discretion of the president and his legal advisors. And in this instance, you have to give it to Baba Sheyi. Baba Sheyi being president anymore, he actually stated the law and said that this was his justification for it. Now that is to be proven by the courts. So if anybody has the time, they can go to the Supreme Court and get like the interpretation. I think
that's a call to action for you to be involved. Go and check out the 305 section of the Constitution. You should.
So there's that, and there's but even beyond we also need to understand that the issues in Rivers State did not just start from the blowing of the pipelines. It's been a number of years in the making. Yes. So there's the relationship, SAR relationship in quotes between the current governor and his predecessor, who is also the Minister of FCT. Yes. And the federal government had actually stepped in to mediate before now. There were conditions given to them: don't do this, don't do this, do this, do this, and conditions to be met. But that didn't go well. There's also the fallout with the House of Assembly in Rivers State as well. Yes. How there are those who are pro Wike and those who are pro Fubara. Yeah. Then there's also the local government election. So a number of things happened before the blowing of the pipelines, and I think that was what broke the camel's back. Yeah, that was what pushed them.
And then, does that justify the dissolving of the parliament? I mean, the governor has been suspended, he and his deputy, Ngozi, I'm sorry, I couldn't remember her last name, but she has also been suspended for 6 months. Yes. And the sole administrator was appointed, retired, what's his name?
He's Admiral, who's once chief of naval staff, I think.
That's quite impressive. He's been making some appointments, and I've been eyeing them personally. That does he have the right to do so?
So I have actually taken time to look at the constitution and some of the laws, and I think I actually need advice. If you're a lawyer here and you're watching this, this is where I need enter my DMs. Let's talk, because I've talked to some of my lawyer friends and they can't seem to give me the right answers. So the appointment of a sole administrator, one, seems kind of, we're not really sure. Can he do it? Can't he do it? Should he do it? And what are the powers of this sole administrator? Because now the president of the federal government, in essence, dissolved the executive arm of government in Rivers State, dissolved the legislative arm of government in Rivers State, leaving only the courts to function. So now, does the sole administrator have the powers of the executive? And the powers of the legislative, do they lie? Where do they lie now? Those are the questions that...
Is it solely vested in him, or...
Exactly. And I hear he went ahead and installed or made local government administrators. Does he
exactly. That was why I said some of them were a bit iffy to me, and I was like, does he have the power to do this? Or he's just living on vibes and inshallah, because I don't understand what's happening.
Funny how someone mentioned to me that the sole administrator is meant to be like a placeholder, like you just go there and maintain calm. Because now you think about it, does he have, because there's no legislature, how is he going to have money to spend? But I hear as he was appointed, some days later, the federal government released the allocation for River State to him. So he has been able to award contracts. But which powers is he using to award contracts?
I mean, is it stated anywhere in the Constitution that the sole administrator has the power to do this? And
is a sole administrator mentioned in the Constitution?
Okay, I didn't know that. To be honest, I didn't know that. But now that's something for me to look up, because everything is quite confusing to me. Like, why are we even letting this happen?
I mean, so it begs the question, like, on what mandate is the sole administrator operating on? Because for the governor, you can say, yes, he was elected by the people voted him, he was sworn in exactly. So which powers is the sole administrator using?
Or is it borrowed power? Is he sharing in the power of the governor? Because it's muddied. Everything is quite muddied.
But now, more than anything, if there's anything I'm happy that this whole... happy in quotes, air fingers, before people drag me. I'm happy that this whole thing is bringing to bear is now more people are actually trying to know what the law really says. Let me know, like before now, nothing really concerned me with Section 305. I did not, like I knew it was there, I'd read it, but I didn't read it with this much interest till now. Because now you're seeing the sole administrator doing things like cancelling procurement contracts, giving procurement contracts to other people, awarding contracts, giving LGA administrators powers, which is weird because there's a standing court judgment on LGAs in Rivers State. So where is he getting? Because now he's like going against court orders, doing what he wants to do, doing things that he shouldn't be doing, and doing things that he feels. I think maybe his powers come from the federal government, and I'm beginning to believe so. Like he has the backing of the federal government.
Okay, so as we can see, the federal government has taken over Rivers State, just like in Edo State where the APC won the election. So is there like a wave of APC? You understand what I'm trying to say? Like, is there like an APC wave in the
APC trying to secure power in the south by winning? I will drag us back a bit, but we'll see in a bit to go forward. What is not hilarious, but ironic in this situation is this is not the first time that a president has declared state of emergency anywhere, or even installed sole administrators in quotes. I think this in the democratic history of Nigeria, this is probably like the fifth time or so. President Jonathan did it in the Northeast because of insurgency. And there was contention at the time. There were people who stood up against him and said, did he have the powers to do so? Did he have the justification to do so? President Obasanjo did the same thing as well in a number of states at the time. And one of the people who was vehemently against and opposed to this idea of state of emergency is the very person who declared state of emergency now, President Tinubu. So now it's like he realized that, they did it before. Let me try my own too. But I'm keen to see how it plays out, because like you mentioned that are they trying to take over the South? It's going to be an uphill task. I mean, they won the Edo election, and that is still in contention. I know that there's a tribunal judgment on that, and it was in favor of the APC, but they can still appeal, and we don't know where the appeal will go. But chances are they will still win again. However, the pulse of the people on ground, there are people there who did not want the APC to come into power, and the other states in the south that are APC states, Cross River, it's traditionally a PDP states, can always swing back. Yes. They just, if not for defection of Ben Ayade, they would not have been an APC state in the long run. Then you're now saying, will they win in Delta State? I'm from Delta State. I don't think my people would want to vote.
You don't think your people would want to? Don't worry. So now let's just see it this way. Is this a bigger picture? Is this just part of puzzle for the bigger picture for the 2027 election? A lot is
I see you are pulling the strings. I like that.
I'm not pulling any strings. I'm just stating, like, no, just take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. Like, we are all speculating. It's mere speculation. Is this part of like a puzzle in a bigger picture for the 2027 election? Since they are trying to win the Niger Delta states, Southwest is kind of, should we say Southwest is kind of secured for the 2027 election?
Largely so. I mean, look at it. Should we look at Southwest state by state? In the Southwest, there's 6 states in the Southwest, right? And of all the states in the Southwest, 2 are PDP states. There's the Osun and there's Oyo. Yes. The Oyo is a PDP state, even though it has APC leanings. So anywhere the governor goes is where the states will go. Yes. And in the last election, the governor was heavily on the side of Yeson Wike. Yes. So anywhere Seyi Makinde wants to go, that's where Oyo will typically go. And people love him. Osun State, they're still dancing with the governor. But we can't say. But for the rest of the states, you can clearly say that Ekiti will still swing in APC's favor. Or Ondo just recently concluded the elections, will still swing in APC's favor.
And
Lagos State. You see, I almost forgot Lagos State, because Lagos State, that one is we know where Lagos State typically always goes.
But what do you think? What if Lagos swings? I don't think that's possible, but let's just think. Let's just assume.
I think that day, I wouldn't want to say hell will grow cold, but it's something I hope to see. Like, I hope to see states swinging back and forth. But typically, with every election cycle, not just in Nigeria, everywhere, there are states that you would usually predict. In the US, for instance, there's always the blue states, the red states, and then swing states that we know, okay, let's try and see where the votes will go. But typically, yeah. But I think, looking at it region by region, there is now more than ever an increasing look at where people can get block votes, especially because I was watching the news recently. There has been some movement of key political figures in Nigeria. Like, they've been meeting each other, they've been, shaking hands.
And I've been watching with my eagle eyes. Like, I see you guys. I see what you're trying to do. El-Rufai,
yes.
That man is. I love this topic. I need to sit well for that.
I mean, he was with the umbrella one day. He was with the umbrella long time ago.
Okay, he's not even sweeping.
He was with the broom. Now he's with horse. He has SDP now. He's riding on a horse now. He's with the SDP now.
They're making strategic moves.
Yes. Very strategic. It's all right. It happens. I mean, it happens. Very strategic. Did you see that? I mean, there was a press conference some weeks ago where, it was the main person that was speaking at the press conference is our perennial or very constant presidential candidate. I mean, Atiku Abubakar has been running for president since 1990.
See, I would want to see. I was not even born then, and
get
seriously, we have to give this man accolades. I would really want.
Consistency.
Please don't stop. If you are watching this, please, I even pray this gets to you. Please don't stop running for president, because I need you to break the Guinness World Record for the longest running president without a single win. I really need you to do that. So please keep on running. Please go Atiks. We're here with you.
Oh my God. But no, think about it now. If you're a babe and a guy has been toasting you for long, at some point you go agree for the guy now.
Seriously, you guys need to learn persistence. If there's one girl that you are toasting and she's not agreeing, please learn from Atiku. Chase what you want.
Yeah.
And you might still not win. But persistence is key.
That is all Aliyah. I don't have any.
No, actually, guys. But you know, well, he's teaming up with El-Rufai,
Yeah,
so
so
maybe
it
he might
seems
have
like-
a chance. He
yeah.
might have a chance, because El-Rufai, let's take it back to the basics. El-Rufai had a major play in APC's formation in 2013.
yes.
So could this be something?
El-Rufai was part of the PDP in Obasanjo's
Yes.
administration.
He and Atiku worked together, but
worked- they worked
they didn't
closely
see face
together.
to face.
And then afterwards, he transitioned into the formation of when ACN and CPC came together.
Yes.
So you see that coalitions is, I mean,
And he was the deputy national.
he held a high position in the party at the time, and even became a governor on the platform of the party.
Exactly. Even I think the formation of APC was one of like the groundbreaking formations in history. Like they went on to win the 2015 elections with President Muhammadu Buhari.
I'm one of those people that calls the APC a marriage of convenience. I mean, think about it. What is the backbone of the party? What did they want to do? They just wanted power. So there were people with a common interest. They didn't necessarily see eye to eye. Their ideologies never really matched. But what they really wanted was, we need to secure power from the PDP. So we have a common enemy. That's why I call it a marriage of convenience. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So they came together.
And in politics, there is no permanent friend, no permanent enemy.
Now why do people be friends for 2015 and now becoming
Because I see no reason why Atiku should even side with anybody that even left the APC. Because he and what's his name, El-Rufai, they were never really friendly. But though they worked together during Obasanjo's period, but they were never particularly friendly.
Have you seen Atiku Abubakar's movements? I mean, Atiku Abubakar has run for presidency in the last how many years with how many parties? He was in the PDP, left the PDP, went to ACN. From ACN, he did not really move to APC, but he's not supporting his party's candidate in 2015 sort of helped the APC come to power.
I think that was because of his own personal interest.
His own personal interest as well. I mean, there are people who say that they have not. He has some. What's the word? There's some reason why his personal interest played out there. If you look at it, usually in Nigeria, we say we don't. It's not documented that we rotate presidency. But we will think, okay, the North will have it this time, then the South will have it this time. And if you look at the numbers, since 1999, we've had more Southern presidents who have ruled for more years than the Northern presidents. So Atiku's own is, let's balance it out.
Do you think that is less balancing out? Or it's because the balancing is going to face, is going to, what's it called?
It's going to favor him, yes.
Favor him.
I mean, the interest of so he has aligned his personal interest with the interest of his region, with the regional interest. I mean, that's politics, interest at play.
So I feel like Muhammad Buhari comes into play with this, the interest of the northern people.
Yes.
Kaduna. See, I don't think El-Rufai can say whatever he wants to say. You see that visit, that innocent visit, that's not innocent. Because why would you an
Delegation was powerful. The delegation was powerful.
at the same place?
There was Achike Udenwa, former governor of Imo State, was there. There was El-Rufai, former governor of Kaduna State.
Atiku Abubakar, the most persistent
Presidential candidate. So it was like Avengers of everybody that has interest in the next election. And there were a couple of other people. Gabriel Suswam, former governor of Benue State was there, and there were a number of other high power people in there. And they didn't just go to see him. They first of all went to the mosque to pray with him.
Yes.
They prayed with him in the mosque. After praying with him, they went home to eat with him. And they claimed that it was post-Salah visit.
Salah since when?
Salah how many days ago? It's now they want to go and visit. It's not
Innocent visit indeed.
I wonder where they will go for Easter. Whose house they will go to.
They should come to my house. I need to host some presidents or future presidents, please.
He's saying a future president.
No, he's going to give me profile. So when people see me, don't touch me. I know the president. Do you know how that sounds?
That's nice. You go and print card. Aliyah, friend of
Nasir El-Rufai.
But it's keen to see how this plays out and what party they would use, because now we've seen it play out over and over again. It's like the parties in Nigeria are just vehicles to win an election. It's not necessarily ideological camps. It's how can I win an election? That's what most people see it as. With the stronghold and who has sway. And now we can see that there are people who yield certain influence in certain places. So we know that former President Buhari has influence in Kaduna, even in his home state of Katsina, and in some blocks of the north. President Buhari has his loyalists, has his supporters, and that's why he was able. As much as we make fun of Atiku Abubakar's run, we also think about it. President Buhari also had a similar run, contested in 2003 with ANPP. Afterwards, he moved to CPC, contested, gave a strong play with a new party. CPC was new. And then before he eventually won with the APC. So he has his loyalists that have moved with him in all these places.
Was taking the C out and replacing it with an A. That worked. A always works. A always comes first.
So are you trying to say that Atiku should change the name of his party?
If he changes it from P to A, I'm sure.
You should just go A. Just everything is. Just make everything easy. Make everything easy. But I like to see how this plays out, because I mean that meeting and the other meetings they've been having seem very like intentional.
It's symbolic. Watch your back. We're coming for.
Well, guess what happened after that meeting?
I can't guess. I'm not good at guessing.
The APC led the delegation to go and visit Buhari.
How? I don't even have any words.
The APC chairman, that's Ganduje.
I mean, it's not a crime. They did it. Why shouldn't we do it? Let's all pay homage to the king.
So this is our points. This is the points where we, as the Voice It podcast and the entire YBI family, we offer this to President Buhari. Please, since you are receiving people, you can receive us. You can even become a guest on the podcast. Who knows?
I want to hear your side of the story, actually. Who are you going for? Because he's taking a back seat now. It's silent, but the silence is kind of carrying weight. It's like, what I'll do is in my chest. Oh, you know Yoruba. In Kotimasho one, you know me. It's inside his chest. I want to know who are you going for? Like, this suspense is...
In this whole mix, where is like a body that everybody's trying to toast.
Exactly.
Like, hey, it's Boo Boo. I don't know where I'm going to go with this, but let's go. Everybody toast me.
Okay, so El-Rufai, our main man in all of this, the man assembling everybody. What led to this? Explain it to me. Break it down to me like I'm 5. Explain it to me.
You make it seem like this El-Rufai is guys, come. Let's do this. Everybody hold hands.
I mean, it's kind of doing it. It's kind of like everybody's seeing him. It's like a magnet. Exactly.
So the quote that came to my head now is "Misery loves company." but if you think about it, there have been reports that Malam El-Rufai has said or has been heard saying that he feels a bit sidelined and pushed aside by the APC, and it's visible for everybody to see. He was instrumental in President Tinubu becoming president, and he helped him work very hard to secure votes in the north and in many other parts of the country. I mean, he did that attack dog role very well. He played his part, and he was meant to become a minister. He was even on the list of many of people who were nominated to be ministers. Long and short, he wasn't approved by the Senate. They had several questions about his, I don't know if it was a character thing, but they had their issues. That's one of the things about having a lot of not enemies, a lot of people who are not, you don't see eye to eye with in politics. And he along the line in his career, he has had people who he doesn't really work well with, oil and water. So they stood against him becoming a minister. And after, what did he do? He went into some sort of exile. Said he was going to go and study. Now he's back. He's left the APC.
Do you think he went to study or he went to gather? Went to the cocoa, like the pots?
He went to go and cook.
Let
well,
him cook.
that if he's cooking, he's studying too. He's studying culinary expertise. But now what I'm keen on seeing, and I mentioned it earlier, is what party they would use, because now El-Rufai has left the APC.
Yes.
And he's moved with, I don't know if he's moved with his supporters, but he's moved to the SDP. Now the SDP already has, I mean, SDP, they have not won any election in recent time. Their only claim to winning elections was 1993. That it took us how many years before somebody came and said, yes, we actually did something wrong, but that's a story for another day. I'm not going to talk about the man that made 17 billion from land. It's not me, but that's that's by the way. That's by the way. But now he's come to the SDP. So now he's left the APC. He's back. He's not back. He's in the SDP, and the SDP already has their own structures. They have their own people that were there. There's the last presidential candidate of the SDP, Adebayo, who said, yeah, he's welcoming all the people who are coming. Like, everybody come. Let's see how we can make this party. So who's going to move for who? And when all of them decide to, how would they now balance the power? Because in this coalition mix, you have a very influential El-Rufai, you have a very powerful and also influential Atiku Abubakar, very persistent Atiku Abubakar, and potentially there are rumors that they are trying to convince Mr. Peter Obi to join them. And we don't know if he's going to join. We don't know how they are going to do it, because they are.
Well, it would be a very interesting mix if Peter Obi was thrown into all of this, because he and Atiku, they were running mates in 2019.
Running mates in 2019.
Atiku was the presidential candidate and Obi was the vice presidential candidate. Yeah. So now, if they come together, Peter Obi ran for presidential candidate in the 2023 elections, and Atiku is very persistent. He wants to win. So if they come together, let's assume they come together, who is going to step down for who? How is it going to work in one party? You can't have two captains in one ship, so one has to step down for one. And both of them, I don't know who is going to step down. Definitely not Atix. Is not going to step down.
I think if I was going to guess anybody stepping down, if I'm going to make a prediction, it will be. Actually, I don't have a prediction. I don't have.
I was about to counter your prediction because now Peter Obi has tasted. He has tasted the delirium with being, the presidential candidate and the support he amassed in 2023. I mean, he led a major youth movement in 2023. Yes. Most of the youths were on the side. So I wonder how that's going to happen. He would never, perhaps.
Never say never,
actually. But I don't think he's going to want to step down for Atiku.
Now, here's the thing. I would sort of agree with you on this. Because if you look at it, he led a third force, which is something we have not seen in a while. Like, it was very unprecedented. I won't lie, I almost gave them no chance. And to see the amount of votes they garnered in the places that they won was very, very good to see. It's hope is the opium of the masses. But beyond that, now the challenge with him, why it will take a while for him to even decide to join this coalition, is one of the reasons why a lot of people supported him in 2023 was because he seemed like anti-establishment, which is ironic in my opinion, because they believed he was different from the crop. Like, this was a different option, which I would say is very funny, because this is somebody who was a member of APGA, left APGA, joined the PDP, from the PDP moved to the Labour Party when PDP did not work out for him, and he wanted to be the presidential candidate of the PDP, and it didn't work out before he moved to the Labour Party. So that's another marriage of convenience, if you put it that way. But now, if he decides to join the coalition, the problem will be he's identifying with the very people that his supporters do not want to identify with. So that's
a major clash of interest in that aspect. Should I go with this? Should I not go with this? Should I? That's
Can I predict something for 2027?
Go ahead.
I'm going to predict that from the looks of things as of now, 2027 election might be one of the elections with very low voter turnout.
Why do you say?
It's a pattern. So, as much as people were involved in 2023 elections, the numbers were lower in 2023 elections than the other elections. I mean, there are some factors that inform that. There was the involvement of technology, that's with the use of the beavers, and the beavers majorly was able to weed out a lot of votes that would usually just sneak in. So overvoting was grossly reduced. But we had a lot of people register to vote, and a lot of people did not, low voter turnout. And with the way things are going and the moves that are being made, I don't see a lot of people, especially young people, wanting to come out. I'm not saying that people should prove me right by not going out to vote. You should actually come out and vote, because I mean that's why we're even doing this.
If you guys don't come out to vote, you'll be jailed. There's a bill. Yes, there's a bill in motion, right? That anyone who doesn't come out to vote will be jailed. So I'm very, very interested to see how that plays out. Would that increase the political apathy in people, or would that lower it significantly? Because
would the bill even see light of day is a question.
It could.
I don't think it will.
It could. And it could not.
Because okay, let me say why I don't think it will see the light of day. So there's a process before a bill can become a law. So somebody thinks of it. I really, now that I mentioned it, I'm going to go and look for who thought of that bill, so I can look at the person eye to eye. But that's a story for another day. Like when a bill will pass first reading, second reading, then it will go to committee level. Then they will have people, civil society organizations, and everybody, public hearings before it comes back to the Senate committee or the House of Reps committee as a whole. They elaborate on it, and before it becomes an act, and then the presidency before it becomes a law, then the presidency has to sign it before it becomes an act. So it's a very long process for making laws. So laws, even if somebody thinks of it, but now the reason why I don't think you see light of day is because in a democracy which we believe we run in Nigeria, there's the choice. So the choice to vote is also the choice not to vote.
But wouldn't you say the choice not to vote is putting more people in power that we don't want there? So if we're trying to change something, we have to start working towards it. The first step to changing this pattern of people we don't want in power, the next thing everybody's going to complain about is, oh, irrespective, they're going to rig the elections. You are the main cause why they're rigging the elections. If you don't come out to vote, they'll just steal your identity. That thing happened in my school and I was very pissed. We had elections. See, corruption is everywhere. I was very pissed.
Like SUG elections.
Exactly. We had elections. Then I went to school because someone I knew was contesting. Then I got to school late. When I got there that day, the next thing I was like, okay, let me just try. Then I saw that people, your vote has been registered. As how? Did my soul come to school to register? Because I have not even left my bed at 12 o'clock. So how did my vote? And it even brought to the time that your vote was registered at 12. Kiniko. I was still in my hostel, stuck in traffic.
And then your vote had already stayed. Your vote had gone ahead of you.
I swear. So that is how your votes are going to go ahead of you too. If you don't go out to vote on the day of election, you sleep in your room and be thinking, okay, they're going to rig it. Darling, if you don't step out of your house, it will be very, very easier for them to rig it. But if you actually don't go out, low turnout of people voting gives them the ammunition to use your votes. For your votes to get ahead of you, like Fejiro said, like how mine got ahead of me.
I agree with you, but somewhat opposed to that. So why I said that it will be somewhat out of the ordinary for us to make a law forcing people to vote is that choice that a democracy gives us is not voting is a choice protected by law. So if we now make a law that says people must vote, we are going against the very freedoms that our constitution gives. And section 1 of the constitution has the sovereignty of the constitution, that any law that we make that opposes the sovereignty of the constitution is illegal. So if you make a law that says this freedom of choice, we're taking it away from you, except you go and change the constitution, it's not avoid. But beyond that, even the elections, and I'll have to give it to, if there's anything that President Buhari did in his 8 years as president, is how there was some reforms. We still need more in the electoral, like signing the electoral act made a lot of difference. And I saw it play out in the elections, because I was somewhat involved in the last elections. Normally, when you go for elections, and I've noticed elections since 2011. I've been at the polling units for elections since, I think, 2011. Normally, when people go to vote, that BVAS was a game changer. Like, let's forget the IRF that didn't work, but the BVAS itself was a game changer, because it helps that identification of people. Like, it helps you cut, like, so now it's more difficult to rig. Like, if you want to rig an election now, you have to be very meticulous about it. Because what happens now is, when people register to vote, like, you're registered, you're in the register, it's uploaded to the BVAS. You come on the day of election, they check your name in the voters register, and at the end, they have collated how many people have registered. So if 29 people register to vote out of 50, if they have 31 votes at that unit, it cancels the votes of the entire unit, because you have more people than the people that are registered. Before now, what will happen is, they know that this unit has 50 people, and they will stuff 50 ballot papers into the ballot box. Yes. It has reduced that. So that's why you see in the last election, a lot of the manipulation did not come from stuffing of ballot boxes. It was result sheets that people claimed were changed. Exactly. Because now you have to wait. You have to wait for the counting to be done before
anything.
Before you can alter anything. So, but we still need to get involved in the process. We still need to get involved in the process, because I wouldn't have known this if I did not try and find out. So we need to get involved in it.
Imagine the island of knowledge you could get if you just took the time to educate yourself about politics. Be involved. Politics is a very important aspect of our lives, and we are youth. We'll soon become our parents, and seriously, I'm not looking forward to that. So the first step is be involved, please.
Ali, I didn't know I'm laughing. You said we'll soon become our parents. You remember when we were young, they told us we'll be the leaders of tomorrow. They told our parents the same thing too. And our parents tomorrow has not come.
That's quite.
So our tomorrow might be, if we do not act now, it might be the tomorrow that our parents are waiting for.
No, but guys, they just keep us selling breads. We have stew. They will not bring bread and use it to pack our stew. That was what they did to our parents. I don't want that to happen to me, because me, I like stew too much for anybody to come and be stealing my stew with bread.
Now that you use this food analogy, I just realized I'm actually hungry. but
see, I'm hungry for youth political participation, guys. I can't wait for 2027. That's what I'm hungry for.
But when instead of us looking at them carrying bread, why don't we look at the entire bakery itself?
Quite nice, isn't it? So guys, that's all for today's episode. We can't wait to see you guys next time, so please tune in to every single episode we drop, because we promise the other episode is going to be better than this one, and we are cooking something, so we can't wait to see you. Share your thoughts, drop a like, continue
comment, subscribe, follow, share, because if you see something that's nice, it's not good if you keep it to yourself. So let other people see it. So be our evangelist. Be involved. So you and you.
Okay, you and I too.
You and yes, we're already here, so it's not them.
We still have much more involvement to do.
Exactly. No problem.
So be involved, and that's all for today's episode. We can't wait to see you next time. Have a lovely day, evening, afternoon, wherever you're watching from. Bye.
Cheers.